How are you guys doing? Today is Saturday, January 29th, 2022. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review the Elite matchups and performances that took place yesterday on Friday, January 28th. I'm taking a look at what's going on in the world of sports. In college basketball, teams are in the middle of their conference schedules. However, there were no top 25 teams that played yesterday. In the NFL, there are still 4 teams left that are competing for Super Bowl 56 in February, as the 2 championship matchups are going to take place on Sunday. Taking a look at what's going on in the NBA is entering its second half of the season. Starting off in Orlando, the Magic hosted the Detroit Pistons. The Magic would end up beating the Pistons 119-103. The Magic won this matchup by 16 after they outscored the Pistons by 20 points in the first quarter. On the losing end of this matchup, the Pistons were led in scoring by their power forward off the bench, Trey Lyles. He finished with 18 points, 2 steals, and 2 blocks in 23 minutes. He shot 5 for 11 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3, and 6 for 7 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Orlando Magic were led in scoring by their starting small forward, Franz Wagner. Wagner finished with 24 points in 27 minutes. He shot 7 for 12 from the field, 2 for 3 from 3, and a perfect 8 for 8 from the foul line. Their shooting guard off the bench, Terrence Ross, would go on to finish with 21 points in 24 minutes. He shot 7 for 11 from the field, 4 for 6 from 3, and a perfect 3 for 3 from the foul line. With this win, the Orlando Magic are now 10-40. That is the worst record in the East, as they are the last team to cross the double-digit win threshold. With this loss, the Detroit Pistons are now 11-37. Taking a look at what went down in Charlotte, the Hornets hosted the Los Angeles Lakers. The Hornets would end up beating the Lakers 117-114. The Hornets won this matchup by 3 after they outscored the Lakers by 16 in the first half. On the losing end of this matchup, the LA Lakers were led in scoring by their goated starting point guard and the NBA's all-time leader in triple-doubles, Russell Westbrook. Westbrook finished with 35 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists in 37 minutes. He shot 12 for 23 from the field, 3 for 7 from 3, and he shot 8 for 10 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Charlotte Hornets were led in scoring by their starting small forward, Miles Bridges. Bridges finished with 26 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals in 41 minutes. He shot 9 for 15 from the field, and he would go on to shoot 7 for 8 from the foul line. Their elite starting point guard and last year's Rookie of the Year, LaMelo Ball, finished with 20 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists in 34 minutes. He shot 7 for 18 from the field, and he shot 2 for 8 from 3 and 4 for 6 from the foul line. Their point guard off the bench, Ish Smith, finished with 22 points and 5 assists in 26 minutes. He shot 10 for 12 from the field, and he would go on to shoot 2 for 3 from 3. Their starting shooting guard, Terry Rozier, finished with 20 points and 6 rebounds in 37 minutes. He shot 7 for 16 from the field, 4 for 10 from 3, and he shot 2 for 3 from the foul line. With this win, the Charlotte Hornets are now 28-22. With this loss, the Los Angeles Lakers are now 24-26. Taking a look now at what went down in Atlanta, the Atlanta Hawks hosted the Boston Celtics. The Hawks would beat the Celtics 108-92. The Hawks won this matchup by 16 after outscoring the Celtics by 13 in the fourth quarter. They also outscored the Celtics by 12 in the first quarter. On the losing end of this matchup, the Celtics were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard, their former All-Star Jaylen Brown, finished with 26 points, 12 rebounds, and 7 turnovers in 35 minutes. He shot 9 for 22 from the field. He would go on to shoot 6 for 7 from the foul line. Their elite starting small forward, Jason Tatum, would go on to finish with 20 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks, and 5 turnovers. All of this in 36 minutes. He shot 5 for 17 from the field, 2 for 8 from 3, and a perfect 8 for 8 from the foul line. Their starting center, Robert Williams III, finished with 11 points and 10 rebounds in 32 minutes. He shot 3 for 5 from the field and a perfect 5 for 5 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Atlanta Hawks were led in scoring by their elite starting point guard, Trae Young, and their starting power forward, John Collins. Young finished with 21 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, and 5 turnovers in 32 minutes. He shot 8 for 25 from the field, 2 for 9 from 3, and a perfect 3 for 3 from the foul line. John Collins finished with 21 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 blocks in 27 minutes. He shot 8 for 13 from the field and 5 for 6 from the foul line. With this win, the Atlanta Hawks are now 23-25. With this loss, the Boston Celtics are now 25-25. Taking a look now at what is going down in New Orleans, the Pelicans hosted the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets were able to beat the Pelicans 116-105. The Nuggets won this matchup by 11 after they outscored the Pelicans by 9 in the second half, as well as outscoring them by 9 in the first quarter. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Pelicans were led in scoring by their starting small forward Herbert Jones out of Alabama. Jones would finish with 19 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 steals in 37 minutes. He shot 7 for 13 from the field and a perfect 4 for 4 from the foul line. Their starting center, Willie Hernan-Gomez, would go on to finish with 18 points and 16 rebounds, as well as 3 blocks in 33 minutes. Hernan-Gomez finished with shooting 5 for 14 from the field and 8 for 10 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the Denver Nuggets were led in scoring by their elite starting center and last year's MVP, Nikola Jokic. Jokic finished with 29 points, 13 rebounds, 10 assists, 2 steals, and 6 turnovers in 30 minutes. Jokic shot 11 for 19 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3, and a perfect 4 for 4 from the foul line. Their starting power forward, Aaron Gordon, finished with 20 points in 31 minutes. He shot 8 for 18 from the field and a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. With this win, the Denver Nuggets are now 27-21. With this loss, the New Orleans Pelicans are now 18-30. Taking a look at what is going down in Miami, the Heat would host the Los Angeles Clippers. The Heat would win this matchup by 7. They won it 121-114. They won this matchup by 7 after outscoring the Clippers by 9 in the first quarter, 12 for the first half. On the losing end of this matchup, the LA Clippers were led in scoring by their shooting guard off the bench out of Duke, Luke Kennard. He finished with 23 points and 6 rebounds in 31 minutes. He shot 7 for 14 from the field, 5 for 11 from 3, and a perfect 4 for 4 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Miami Heat were led in scoring by their elite starting small forward, Jimmy Butler. Butler finished with 26 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists, and 3 steals in 37 minutes. He shot 5 for 12 from the field and a perfect 16 for 16 from the foul line. Their starting point guard, Gabe Vincent, finished with 23 points in 33 minutes. He would go on to shoot 8 for 15 from the field and 7 for 12 from 3. Their starting center out of Kentucky, Bam Adebayo, finished with 20 points and 12 rebounds in 36 minutes. He shot 7 for 14 from the field and 6 for 7 from the foul line. With this win, the Miami Heat are now 32-17. And with this loss, the Los Angeles Clippers are now 25-16, or 25-26. They are 1 game below 500. Taking a look at what's going down in Houston, the Rockets hosted the Portland Trailblazers. The Trailblazers would beat the Rockets 125-110. The Trailblazers won this matchup by 15 after they outscored the Rockets by 12 in the first quarter and by 9 in the fourth. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Rockets were led in scoring by their starting center, Christian Wood, and their starting shooting guard, Garrison Matthews. Wood finished with 21 points, 15 rebounds, and 2 blocks in 37 minutes. He shot 9 for 17 from the field and 2 for 3 from the foul line. Matthews finished with 21 points and 2 steals in 36 minutes. He shot 5 for 9 from the field, 4 for 8 from 3, and 7 for 8 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the Trailblazers were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard, Anthony Simons. Simons finished with 27 points and 6 assists in 35 minutes. He shot 11 for 17 from the field and 5 for 9 from 3. Their starting shooting guard, CJ McCollum, finished with 26 points and 5 assists in 37 minutes. He shot 10 for 20 from the field, 4 for 9 from 3, and 2 for 3 from the foul line. Their starting center, Yusuf Nurkic, finished with 25 points and 13 rebounds, as well as 6 turnovers in 33 minutes. He shot 8 for 11 from the field, and he shot 9 for 11 from the foul line. With this win, the Portland Trailblazers are now 21-28. With this loss, the Houston Rockets are now 14-35. Taking a look at what went down in Memphis, the Grizzlies would go on to host the Utah Jazz. The Grizzlies would go on to win this matchup 119-109. They won this matchup by 10 after they outscored the Jazz by 7 in the second quarter. On the losing end of this matchup, the Jazz were led in scoring by their small forward off the bench, Danuel House Jr. out of Texas A&M. He would go on to finish with 21 points and 2 steals in 16 minutes as he shot 7 for 11 from the field, 4 for 6 from 3, and he went on to shoot a perfect 3 for 3 from the foul line. And on the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Memphis Grizzlies were led in scoring by their elite starting point guard, Ja Morant. Morant would finish with 30 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, and 6 turnovers in 36 minutes. He would go on to shoot 10 for 22 from the field, 2 for 6 from 3, and 8 for 13 from the foul line. With this, or off the bench, their power forward, Brandon Clark, would finish with 22 points in 26 minutes. He shot 9 for 12 from the field, and he shot a perfect 4 for 4 from the foul line. With this win, the Memphis Grizzlies are now 34-17. As they have won 2/3 of their games. And with this loss, the Utah Jazz are now 30-20. They've won 60% of their games. Taking a look at what is going down in Oklahoma City, the Thunder went on to host the Indiana Pacers. In a game that went to overtime, the Pacers would beat the Thunder 113-110 after outscoring the Thunder 13-10 in overtime. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Oklahoma City Thunder were led in scoring by their starting small forward, Luguentz Dort. Dort finished with 27 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 steals in 41 minutes. He shot 10 for 16 from the field and a perfect 4 for 4 from the foul line. Their starting shooting guard, Josh Giddey, out of Australia, the rookie, finished with 15 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists in 40 minutes. He shot 7 for 15 from the field. On the winning end of this matchup, the Indiana Pacers were led in scoring by their starting power forward, Domantas Sabonis. Sabonis finished with 24 points, 18 rebounds, 10 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, and 5 turnovers in 44 minutes. He shot 9 for 16 from the field and 6 for 9 from the foul line. Their starting small forward, Justin Holiday, finished with 22 points and 5 rebounds in 36 minutes. He shot 8 for 12 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3, and a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. With this win, the Indiana Pacers are 18-32. With this loss, the Oklahoma City Thunder are now 14-34. Taking a look at what went down in San Antonio, the Spurs hosted the Chicago Bulls as DeMar DeRozan faced off against his former team. The Spurs would beat the Bulls 131-122. The Spurs won this matchup by 9 after outscoring the Bulls by 12 in the third quarter. On the losing end of this matchup, the Bulls were led in scoring by their starting small forward, DeMar DeRozan, the former San Antonio Spur. He finished with 32 points, 6 rebounds, and 8 assists in 37 minutes. He shot 13 for 22 from the field. He made his only three-pointer of the night, and he shot a perfect 5 for 5 from the foul line. The Bulls starting shooting guard, Zach LaVine, finished with 30 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists in 35 minutes. He shot 10 for 23 from the field, 2 for 10 from 3, and 8 for 9 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown San Antonio Spurs were led in scoring by their starting point guard out of Washington, DeJounte Murray. He finished with 29 points, 9 rebounds, 12 assists, 3 steals, and 5 turnovers in 37 minutes. He shot 12 for 24 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3, and 3 for 4 from the foul line. Their starting small forward out of Kentucky, Keldon Johnson, finished with 23 points and 8 rebounds in 40 minutes. He shot 8 for 16 from the field, 4 for 8 from 3, and a perfect 3 for 3 from the foul line. Their starting center, Jakob Poeltl, finished with 21 points, 11 rebounds, all this in 32 minutes, as he shot 9 for 12 from the field and 3 for 5 from the foul line. With this win, the San Antonio Spurs are 19-31. With this loss, the Chicago Bulls are now 30-18. Taking a look at what went down in Phoenix, the NBA leading Phoenix Suns, hosted the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Suns would beat the Timberwolves 134 to 124. They won this matchup by 10 after they outscored the Timberwolves by 8 in the first quarter. On the losing end of this matchup, the Timberwolves were led in scoring by their elite starting small forward out of Georgia, Anthony Edwards. He finished with 27 points, 5 rebounds, 10 assists, and 4 steals in 37 minutes. He shot 9 for 20 from the field, 4 for 11 from 3, and 5 for 6 from the foul line. Their shooting guard off the bench, Malik Beasley, finished with 26 points, all of this in 28 minutes. He shot 9 for 18 from the field, 4 for 10 from 3, and a perfect 4 for 4 from the foul line. Their elite starting center, Karl Anthony Towns, finished with 23 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists in 31 minutes. He shot 8 for 20 from the field. He would go on to shoot 2 for 7 from 3 and 5 for 8 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Phoenix Suns were led in scoring by their elite starting shooting guard, Devin Booker. He finished with 29 points, 3 rebounds, and 9 assists in 38 minutes. He shot 10 for 26 from the field, 4 for 10 from 3, and he would go on to shoot 5 for 6 from the foul line. Their starting small forward, Cam Johnson, finished with 23 points and 5 rebounds, as well as 2 steals in 37 minutes. He shot 8 for 13 from the field, 5 for 9 from 3, and 2 for 3 from the foul line. Their elite starting point guard out of Wake Forest, Chris Paul, finished with 21 points, 10 rebounds, and 14 assists in 37 minutes. He shot 5 for 9 from the field, 4 for 5 from 3, and he shot 7 for 9 from the foul line. With this win, the Phoenix Suns are now 39-9. That is still the best record in the NBA. They're the lone team that still has a single-digit amount of losses. And saying that, considering the Pistons have hit a double-digit amount of wins before the Suns have hit a double-digit amount of losses, is impressive. With this loss, the Minnesota Timberwolves are now 24-25 on the year. Taking a look, last but not least, at what is going down in Milwaukee, the defending champs Milwaukee Bucks hosted the New York Knicks. The Bucks would beat the Knicks 123-108. They won this matchup by 15 after they outscored the Knicks by 9 in the first quarter and by 10 in the fourth. On the losing end of this matchup, the New York Knicks were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard, Evan Fournier. Fournier finished with 25 points and 7 rebounds in 32 minutes. He shot 10 for 19 from the field and 5 for 12 from 3. Their starting shooting guard out of Duke, R.J. Barrett, would finish with 23 points and 2 steals in 35 minutes. He shot 6 for 20 from the field. He would go on to shoot 3 for 8 from 3, and he would shoot 8 for 10 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the Milwaukee Bucks were led in scoring by their elite starting power forward, Giannis Antetokounmpo. He would go on to finish with 38 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, and he did all this in 34 minutes. He shot 12 for 19 from the field, 2 for 6 from 3, and he shot 12 for 16 from the foul line. Their starting point guard, Drew Holiday, finished with 24 points, 5 rebounds, and 10 assists in 35 minutes. He shot 8 for 15 from the field, 4 for 9 from 3, and he shot a perfect 4 for 4 from the foul line. Their starting small forward, Chris Middleton, finished with 20 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 steals in 32 minutes. He shot 7 for 18 from the field and a perfect 5 for 5 from the foul line. With this win, the Milwaukee Bucks are now 31-20. With this loss, the New York Knicks are now 23-27 on the season. Taking a look at what's going on in the world of soccer from yesterday, there were just a couple of World Cup qualifiers in South America. Peru was able to beat Colombia 1-0, and Venezuela was able to beat Bolivia 4-1, as Venezuela would see a hat trick from Salomon Rondon. And that's everything I have for you. That's everything from yesterday. And once all of today's exhibitions and matchups are done, I'm going to come back tomorrow on Sunday, January 30th, 2022. But until then, thanks for listening to this piece. I hope all is well, and I'll catch you with an individual profile right after this. I want to thank the ESPN, NCAA, NFL, NBA, and FIFA websites for giving me all the facts and figures that I need. And I apologize for any of the names that I butchered, but I do hope to get it right eventually. But until then, thanks for listening. I hope all is well, and I'll catch you with another piece right after this. Peace out.